Ah, my dear, pull up a chair and get comfortable, because I have a story to tell you. You know, at 80, I've seen enough of life to write a small library. And sometimes I think I might as well, if only to make sure someone remembers the lessons, the laughs, and the absurdities. Today, I want to talk about something most people wouldn't dare. Why, after 70, you really don't need friends to live a full, happy life. I know, it sounds shocking, maybe even a little cruel. But hear me out. I promise you there's nothing lonely about it. In fact, freedom tastes sweeter than any friendship I've ever had. You see, friendships in youth are vital. They're like training wheels, helping you navigate the twists and turns of life. But after 70, those wheels fall away, and you realize you've been riding on your own strength all along. And my dear, what a relief it is to pedal without someone constantly tugging at your handlebars. Let me tell you about Mrs. Thompson. Oh, bless her soul, she meant well, but she had the persistence of a cat determined to sit on a keyboard. Every morning, 8 a.m. sharp, she called me to check if I was ready for our walk. "Paul, you promised," she'd chirp. And I, being stubborn as an old mule, replied, "Mrs. Thompson, I promised myself peace this morning, and that's a promise I intend to keep." She huffed and puffed, and I smiled to myself, savoring my coffee by the window, the sun warm in my hands, the world quiet around me. Independence after 70 is like that first sip of morning coffee without interruptions, pure bliss. You realize that peace is more valuable than constant companionship. Friends at this age often bring obligations, expectations, and yes, drama. And believe me, at 80, drama is not on my agenda. I've spent too many decades running around trying to be everyone's everything. Now, I spend my time on what nourishes my soul. And there's a funny thing about independence. It makes everyday life feel like an adventure. I dance in my living room when a catchy tune comes on. I wear socks that match only in my imagination. I even talk to my plants. Don't laugh, they are excellent listeners. Some days I think they understand me better than any human ever could. But let's talk about finances. Friends, my dear, can be incredibly expensive. Birthday lunches, weekend trips, last-minute gifts. The list goes on. I remember Mrs. Ellington, a friend from my early 60s, dragging me on a cruise. "It's about experiences," she exclaimed, waving a brochure. I looked at her, raised an eyebrow, and said, "Or it's about draining your bank account, Mrs. Ellington." She laughed, but I was serious. Now, at 80, I spend my money on little joys, a quiet lunch, a chocolate tart, a book that makes me laugh. Things that fill me with happiness without emptying my wallet. Time becomes precious, too. I've learned to guard it like a hawk. Friends, even well-meaning ones, sometimes demand it in ways that leave you drained. 3 hours listening to someone complain about their neighbor's lawn? Not anymore. I'll spend those 3 hours walking in the morning sun, writing a letter to my granddaughter, or even napping without guilt. Life is too short for anything else. Rediscovering yourself is another gift of independence. Without friends constantly shaping your choices, you get to find yourself again. I've spent years trying to fit in, trying to be the man everyone wanted me to be. Now, I dance when I feel like dancing, I eat the breakfast I want, and I even talk to myself in the mirror, congratulating my stubborn self for surviving 80 years of chaos, heartbreak, joy, and sheer nonsense. And it's glorious. Oh, and let me be shameless for a moment. If you're enjoying this little story, why not hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel? Sharing these tales has become one of my favorite things, and I'd love for you to be part of it. You know, friendships after 70 can bring unsolicited advice, too. "Paul, try this supplement. No, that diet is terrible. You must join my yoga class." At first, I thought people cared. Maybe they do. But mostly, it's exhausting. Living independently lets you make your own choices, Try, fail, and learn, all without commentary. Want to skip the kale smoothie because it tastes like old grass? Go ahead. Want to try a new exercise? Fantastic. Freedom is priceless. And now, the best part. Happiness becomes fully yours. After 70, the joy you feel doesn't have to be negotiated or shared. I spend my mornings watching the sunrise, my afternoons painting or reading, my evenings with jazz and a glass of wine. No one tells me how to live, no one judges my silly dance moves, and every moment is richer because it's untainted by obligation. You might be wondering about loneliness. Sometimes, yes, it sneaks in, but it's not the same as being trapped in a draining friendship. Loneliness is quiet reflection. Friendship that drains is a chain. I've learned to savor the quiet, the gentle breeze, the hum of the kettle, the laughter of grandchildren echoing through the house. Companionship comes in other forms: pets, family, even a friendly wave from the mailman. Life finds ways to fill the gaps without forcing social obligations. Let me tell you something funny. I've become a prankster in my old age. Without friends around to scold me, I pull harmless tricks on my grandchildren. Last week, I swapped sugar with salt in a cup of tea. The looks on their faces, the joy! Independence allows mischief without guilt, and at 80, I can assure you it's therapeutic. Freedom also breeds creativity. I've started writing letters to old acquaintances, not because I have to, but because I want to. I've picked up hobbies I abandoned decades ago. I've learned new skills just because I can. Every day feels like a new canvas, unshackled by expectations, unburdened by obligations. Friendships after 70 aren't inherently bad. They just have to add value. If they drain you, limit your choices, or add stress, then independence is not just a choice, it's a salvation. It allows you to prioritize joy, savor quiet moments, laugh at your own jokes, and relish every sunrise unburdened. And then there are the little joys you notice only when alone. Savoring breakfast slowly, reading a book without interruption, humming along to music nobody else hears, wearing ridiculous socks because why not? These small freedoms, overlooked in youth, become treasures in later years. They are the threads that make the tapestry of your life feel vibrant, personal, and entirely yours. You see, my dear, the truth is this. After 70, friends aren't unnecessary because people are invaluable. They're unnecessary because you are. You've earned your life, your peace, your joy. And the only companion you truly need is the one who's been with you all along. You. The rest is icing, optional, delightful when present, but not required for happiness. I've spent years observing others and myself, noticing how energy-draining friendships often outweigh the joy they bring. I've seen people cling to friends out of habit, not happiness. I've watched the anxiety of pleasing others consume precious time and energy. And I've learned that letting go isn't cruel, it's liberating. It's reclaiming your right to choose every day how you want to live. And that, my dear, is a gift. Even my hobbies have flourished in this independence. I paint landscapes, sometimes abstract, sometimes realistic, all inspired by the freedom to create for myself. I cook meals I enjoy, experiment with flavors, and sometimes make a complete mess of the kitchen, but no one complains. Every day becomes an experiment in joy, curiosity, and self-expression. And the laughter that comes when I embrace life without filters, without obligations, without needing approval. I chuckle at myself when I try new recipes, at the ridiculous stories I tell my cat, at memories that bubble up unexpectedly. And I've realized that laughter, pure and unpressured, is one of the sweetest gifts of all. By the time I turned 80, I'd fully embraced this philosophy. Independence isn't isolation, it's empowerment. It's the luxury of deciding what matters, of spending time intentionally, of surrounding yourself with what lifts your spirit. And it's deeply satisfying to know that at this age, every moment I enjoy is purely mine. I've had friends who couldn't understand it, but that's fine. Life is personal. And at 80, I don't need anyone's validation. I do what brings me joy. I spend time how I choose. I laugh when I want. I eat chocolate for breakfast if it pleases me. And I've never felt more alive. So, my dear, if you're wondering whether life without friends after 70 is lonely, I promise you, it isn't. It's liberating. It's vibrant. It's the chance to rediscover yourself, to relish each day, and to live fully on your own terms. And trust me, once you experience it, you'll never look back with regret. You'll look forward with anticipation, excitement, and a mischievous smile. Now, let me tell you about the freedom that comes from shedding unnecessary friendships. Because, my dear, it's not just about peace. It's about discovering the ridiculous, wonderful things you can do when no one's watching. For instance, I've taken to walking barefoot in the garden. Not all the time, mind you. My toes have protested more than once, but sometimes, just sometimes, it feels incredible to feel the earth beneath my feet, to hear the crunch of leaves, to revel in the simple absurdity of it. And no one tells me it's strange. Nobody judges. That's the beauty of it. Without friends dictating schedules or offering their endless advice, I've also rediscovered spontaneity. Just last month, I decided to paint my living room bright yellow because I woke up craving sunshine. Did it match the furniture? Not at all. Did it matter? Not a bit. The joy of choosing for yourself without explaining or apologizing is intoxicating. I've learned that independence isn't just freedom, it's a form of art, and I am the artist of my own life. And then there are the misadventures that come with living unbound. Picture this, an 80-year-old man armed with a shopping list wandering a supermarket with no one to guide him. I ended up buying 20 cans of pineapple chunks and no bread. My cat was thrilled, but the point is, I laughed the entire way home. In youth, I would have stressed, worried, or even gotten annoyed with someone for judging my choices. Now, I revel in the absurdity and let life's quirks be exactly that, quirks. You know, one of the funniest things about independence after 70 is realizing how little you truly need from other people. Sure, companionship is pleasant, but so is solitude. Some days I spend hours sitting by my window watching the clouds drift. I talk to myself, yes, but also to the occasional bird who lands on the railing. We exchange greetings, little chirps and nods, and I swear if he could, he'd tell me stories of his day. These small, quiet moments bring a serenity that even the most attentive friend couldn't match. And my adventures don't stop there. Without friends calling for obligations, I've taken to experimenting with all sorts of hobbies I never had time for. I've started baking bread, real, crusty, aromatic bread that makes the house smell like heaven. I've learned to play a little guitar again, fumbling through old songs, laughing when my fingers refuse to cooperate. I've even tried writing poetry, though most of it is terrible. But do you know what? I'm having the time of my life. There's no one to critique, no one to compare, no one to remind me I'm too old to try. Sometimes I think back to the years when I clung to friendships out of habit. I remember those evenings spent at someone else's house, listening politely while their problems consumed the air. I'd nod, smile, offer advice, and leave feeling completely drained. Now, I can decide which people enter my life, and often the answer is nobody. And that, my dear, is liberating. And here's a secret. Solitude teaches you to laugh at yourself. I catch myself making ridiculous faces in the mirror, talking in silly accents, or narrating my life as though it's a soap opera. I do this because I can. I do this because it's funny. I do this because no one else's approval is necessary. And every laugh feels like a victory, a small rebellion against the notion that old age must be dull, silent, or constrained. Oh, and let me tell you about a particularly hilarious experiment I tried recently. I decided to reorganize my entire kitchen. I labeled jars with overly dramatic names like Elixir of Morning Glory for coffee beans and Powder of Eternal Youth for flour. My neighbors peeked over the fence and stared, bewildered. Did I care? Not at all. I reveled in the absurdity. Independence allows you these little indulgences, and believe me, they bring enormous joy. I've also found that living independently sharpens your self-reliance in ways friendships sometimes obscure. When no one is checking in, you learn to trust your instincts more, make decisions faster, and discover your own strengths. I fix small things around the house, cook meals from scratch, and even handle minor plumbing disasters without panic. Every task completed alone reinforces the truth, I am enough. I always have been. And at 80, that realization brings a profound sense of contentment. And yet, independence doesn't mean isolation. In fact, it allows for the most meaningful connections, connections you choose consciously, not out of habit or obligation. I now spend more time with family, for instance, because it's intentional. I choose conversations that uplift, gatherings that inspire, and activities that bring genuine joy. And when I want solitude, I have it, without guilt, without pressure, without explanations. That balance, my dear, is priceless. Let me tell you another funny story. I took up bird watching recently. It started as a quiet hobby, just me and my binoculars. But then I began talking to the birds. Seriously, full conversations. "Hello, Mr. Robin," I'd whisper. And do you know what? I swear they respond in their own way. A nod, a chirp, a flutter of wings. Who needs friends when you have a flock of feathered companions who never complain or borrow money? Now, let's talk about mornings, because mornings are sacred. I wake up, stretch, and sit with my coffee, watching the sunlight spill across the garden. No one calls, no one demands, no one interrupts. I've learned to cherish these hours. They set the tone for the entire day. And sometimes the simplest joys are the most profound. A good cup of coffee, a warm ray of sun, a quiet sigh of contentment. These moments, unshared, are mine, and they are precious. And here's a secret weapon of happiness after 70: curiosity. Independence allows you to explore, learn, and rediscover life with childlike wonder. I've taken classes online, experimented with new cuisines, and even attempted to learn a little French, mostly to impress myself and mostly failing miserably. But the thrill of trying, of discovering, of laughing at my mistakes is exhilarating. I wouldn't trade it for any friendship obligation. Of course, there are moments of reflection, too. I think about old friends, some long gone, some drifting away. I remember laughter, shared stories, comfort, and yes, even heartbreak. And I cherish those memories, but I don't let them bind me. Memories, unlike friendships, can be savored at your own pace. They aren't demanding. They don't drain your energy. They remind you of who you were, so you can appreciate who you are now. And let me tell you about the joy of doing things purely for yourself. I've taken to painting my fingernails bright colors, wearing bold scarves, and humming loudly while walking through the house. Sometimes I sing off-key in the shower, and sometimes I dance in my slippers. Nobody watches, nobody judges, and every act of self-indulgence is a celebration of freedom. After 70, these small rebellions are vital. And my routines, oh, the routines, I guard them fiercely. Morning walks, afternoon naps, evening music, midnight reflections. These aren't obligations, they're acts of devotion to my own happiness. Friends, while lovely in moderation, can often disrupt these rhythms. Independence allows consistency, comfort, and the deep satisfaction of living life according to your own clock. Sometimes I even talk to the walls of my home. Don't be alarmed, they listen better than most people. Ah, old friend, I'll say to the kitchen wall, you've held my laughter, my tears, and my absurdities. Thank you for your quiet companionship. And truly, that wall has seen more of my life than any person in decades. Independence teaches you to find solace in unlikely places. And let me share one final lesson about laughter. It is, without question, the greatest benefit of independence after 70. I laugh at myself, at life, at the sheer unpredictability of existence. I laugh when I spill flour on the floor, when I mispronounce a French word, when I watch a bird steal a piece of bread. And that laughter, unbounded by social expectations, feels like victory, liberation, and pure joy all at once. My dear, living without the constant presence of friends after 70 doesn't mean living without love or joy. It means living intentionally, laughing freely, exploring without restraint, and discovering the magic of being fully, unapologetically yourself. Independence, in its truest form, is not loneliness, it's liberation, creativity, serenity, and delight. So here I am at 80, living proof that you can thrive, laugh, explore, and find profound joy without the obligations friendships can impose. I paint, I sing, I prank my grandchildren, I talk to birds, I sip coffee at sunrise, and I live on my terms. And every day I wake with gratitude for the freedom I've earned, for the joy I choose, and for the life I continue to create, one laugh, one absurd experiment, one quiet moment at a time. And if you've made it this far, my dear, I hope you feel inspired to cherish your independence, to laugh at life's absurdities, and to prioritize joy in every moment. Maybe, just maybe, you'll see that freedom after 70 isn't just an option, it's the greatest gift you can give yourself.